How do individuals acquire the motivation to carry out uninteresting activities? Why do we sometimes perform unexciting activities wholeheartedly and at other times with reluctance? These questions can be of interest to just about anyone, but if you have ever led a team of any kind or aspire to, these are questions that you may find particularly interesting for obvious reasons. According to John Marshall Reeve, Korea University, in his book Understanding Motivation and Emotion, intrinsically motivated people show initiative, strive to extend themselves and their capabilities, process information deeply and conceptually, show greater task persistence, and experience greater positive emotion, vitality, and well being. Simultaneously, individuals with these characteristics could be described as displaying self determined behavior. As leaders, all of these behaviors are something we would like to help foster and grow in every individual on our team. Whether you are a teacher, parent, supervisor, coach, you want your team to be successful. And I think we can all agree the behavioral characteristics of intrinsic motivation would help us do just that. Relying heavily on ideas and explanations provided by John Marshall Reeve in his 2015 book, Motivation and Emotion, 6th edition, I'd like to offer an explanation of motivation through the lens of self determination theory. So, what does it mean to be intrinsically motivated or self determined? One way of putting it is that a person's behavior is directed and energized by what they value and what they find interesting or fulfilling, instead of behavior stemming from consequences and rewards dictated to them. The latter example describes extrinsic motivation. To be self determined or intrinsically motivated means the individual generates regulation, behavior, or value, not the environment. So if intrinsic motivation or self determination is the end goal, as any leader would agree is, based on behavioral outcomes, what kind of landscape must one navigate in order to usher individuals to it? What tools might we use to traverse such a landscape? Self determination theory provides us not only with a map of this motivational landscape, but it also indicates what tools and methods can get us to our end goal. The landscape is a continuum that ranges from amotivation or non self determined behavior to intrinsic motivation or self determined behavior. A person with amotivation and non self determined behavior would describe someone that lacks motivation altogether. People who are amotivated are reliably predicted to perform poorly. This is as far from our end goal as we can get. In between these two extremes lie four types of extrinsic motivation. Remember that extrinsic motivation arises from environmental incentives and consequences. It is broken up into four pieces to show the varying gradations of extrinsic motivation. The closer we are to a motivation, the more external forces, such as rewards and punishments, play a role in the regulation of behavior. That is to say, the more behavior is directed and energized extrinsically. The closer we get to intrinsic motivation, the less behavior is regulated extrinsically, and the more self determined or intrinsically motivated the behavior will become. The tools and methods that self determination theory provides are internalization and integration. According to Richard M. Rand and Edward L. Deci at the University of Rochester, in an article published in 2000 by the Academic Press, internalization is the process of taking in a value or regulation And integration is the process by which individuals more fully transform the regulation into their own so that it will emanate from their sense of self. This tells us that it is possible to move an individual toward the end goal of self determined behavior. Remember, we are talking about motivating in reference to activities that are not inherently interesting. So, getting people from being externally motivated by rewards and punishments to being internally motivated or self determined is a big deal and no easy feat. So, how do we do it? Through promoting relatedness, supporting competence, and autonomy, otherwise known as psychological needs. Richard M. Rand and Edward L. Deci at the University of Rochester, in an article published in 2000 by the Academic Press, suggests that the groundwork for facilitating internalization is by providing a sense of belongingness and connectedness. We call this relatedness. People are more willing to accept offered regulations or values if they feel respected or cared for. Second, people are more likely to adopt and internalize a goal if it is understood and the individuals have the relevant skills to succeed at it. But for a regulation, value, or behavior to become integrated and pushed to the end goal of self determination, we must provide support for autonomy. Autonomy is the experience of self directing and personally endorsing the initiation and regulation of one's behavior. This can be supported by providing clear feedback that aims to inform competence rather than control behavior, and structure that provides clear goals, guidance, and help. A 2014 study by H. Schifrin et al. At the University of Mary Washington, published in the Journal of Child and Family Studies, explored the effects of an over-controlling environment or an environment that does not promote and foster autonomy on a sampling of students. They sampled 297 undergrad students and measured their perceived autonomy, competence, and relatedness using a basic needs satisfaction scale. This study ties directly into the core claims of self-determination theory. The researchers hypothesized that students that perceive themselves to have low levels of autonomy would be related to higher levels of depression and anxiety, as well as decreased satisfaction with life. The results of their study suggest that an inappropriate level of environmental control is associated with negative child outcomes, specifically higher levels of depression, decreased satisfaction with life. They found that when parents engage in controlling environment behaviors, students' sense of personal autonomy may diminish and could lead to depression. They also found that relatedness was found to be lower in students with reported over controlling environments. Leading others should be a joy, and our teams deserve environments that support their needs and allow them to reach a level of self determination. To spark intrinsic motivation within our employees, athletes, children, or students should be our goals as leaders and motivators. How do we accomplish this? We try to satisfy psychological needs, relatedness, competence, and autonomy. And we try to do this to each individual on our team. To appeal to the need of relatedness, get to know your teammates, show them that you care, and be honest and respectful. Take the time to explain why tasks will benefit the individual. To appeal to the need of competence, try to ensure that activity matches the team member's level of ability to be sufficiently challenging. Being under challenged, on the other hand, neglects and therefore undermines competence. Providing feedback is also important so the team member may evaluate whether they are competent or not. To satisfy the need of autonomy, provide structure that consists of clear goals and opportunities for guidance and help. Provide the team member the ability to make choices and mistakes. Thank you.